Every morning, I rise at 6 sharp. Old habits cling tight, especially after 78 years. The fridge door slams in the kitchen. Clara's fixing breakfast for her husband. Nathan. 40 minutes later. She raps on my door, not out of courtesy, but to check I'm still breathing. I ease myself up, joints creaking like an old gate. My room's on the ground floor, a former guest space redone for me when I moved in with my daughter 5 years back. Moved in feels like a strange term. Truth is, I've always lived in this house. Nobody knows it. Clara's knock comes right on time. "Henry, you're not gone yet," she calls, irritation outweighing concern. "Not yet," I reply. "Same as always. Breakfast in 20. Don't be late." Her footsteps fade without waiting for my answer. Clara's my youngest, 43. Always a tough one. Her mother, my late wife, Margaret, passed when Clara was just 16. Maybe that's why she's so cold. She blames me for outliving her mom. Or maybe that's just who she is. I stopped searching for reasons long ago. I dress slowly, picking a clean long-sleeve shirt. The house is always chilly. Clara pinches pennies on heat. Even though Nathan earns well as a financial consultant, they're obsessed with saving. Every cent tracked, every extra cost questioned. Sometimes I think they'd understand money better if they'd ever gone without. In the mirror, I see a frail old man, thinning silver hair, deep lines framing my eyes, my electrician's hands, scarred from years of small burns. Tell the story of 46 years at the town's power plant. Steady work, decent pay, modest pension. That's what everyone believes. But the secret I've carried for 22 years weighs heavier than all the cables I ever worked on. In 2003, I won the lottery. $2 million. I told no one. Not Margaret, who was already ill for him. Not my kids, especially not them. I have 2, Clara and my eldest, James, both spoiled, always needing cash. Every time Margaret and I bailed them out, they came back for more. If they knew about the winnings, they'd have burned through it in no time, then blamed me for not having enough. So I stayed quiet. Put the money in a high-interest account. A year later, after Margaret passed, I bought this house in Boise, Idaho, for $700,000, 3 stories. Roomy, in a good neighborhood. But I told the kids I was renting. "Henry, you're late," Clara yells from downstairs. I shuffle to the kitchen. Nathan's at the table, glued to his tablet. He barely nods. Our relationship is polite, but distant. To him, I'm just his wife's old man. Someone to tolerate. "Good morning," I say, taking my usual seat. Clara sets a bowl of watery oatmeal before me. "Same as every day. No butter. Half an apple. For your health," she claims. But we both know it's about cost. "You didn't forget James and his kids are coming today." "Did you?" Clara asks, pouring coffee. "I hope you don't hide in your room like last time." "I'm not avoiding my son," I say, stirring the gray mush. "Then why barely talk to him at Thanksgiving?" she snaps, arms crossed. "He thinks you don't care." I look up. When did he last call just to chat, not to beg for money? Nathan snorts, eyes on his screen. Clara shoots him a look. "He's busy," she says. "His logistics business. 2 kids, always something. Yet he finds time to call when he needs cash for a new truck or warehouse." I shrug. Funny how that works. Clara's face tightens. "You're unfair. We care about you. Who took you in when you couldn't live alone? Who cooks, cleans, drives you to the doctor? I live in my own house." I want to say, but I nod. Like always. I'm grateful for the roof. Clara nods, satisfied, ending the argument. Then Lily, my granddaughter, 19, a college freshman, breezes into the kitchen. She's the only one here who talks to me without obligation. "Morning, everyone," she says, kissing my cheek. "How'd you sleep? Grandpa counting sheep half the night? Sore feet the other half?" I reply. She laughs. Clara rolls her eyes. She never got my humor. You got class today? I ask Lily. Yeah, till 3. Then work at the cafe till 8, she says, grabbing coffee and a pear. I can pick you up tomorrow for a park walk. I offer. Lily, Grandpa's got better things to do. Clara cuts in. The plumber's coming to fix his leaky bathroom. I can do both. I say, plumbers come mornings. We don't know when. Clara insists. Stay home all day. I don't argue. It's pointless. Clara always has a reason to keep me here. I think she's scared I'll keel over somewhere and she'll have to deal with it. Lily gives her mom a frustrated look but stays quiet. She's learned to pick her fights. Gotta go, she says, downing her coffee. See you tonight. She kisses me again and dashes out. The house feels colder after the door slams. Nathan stands, gathering his things. Check the electric bill, he tells Clara. It was high last month. His eyes flick to me. Implying I'm the cause. I hardly use lights, I say. And TV's only at night. Nobody's blaming you. Henry? Nathan says with a fake smile. But bills pile up, and your pension's not elastic. Is it? I nod, thinking of my bank account. Over 1 million strong. Money no one knows about. Sometimes I wonder why I keep it secret. Then I recall Clara's greedy eyes. James's endless calls for cash, always ending with a plea for a few grand. After Nathan leaves, Clara clears the table. Rent's due Monday, she says, not looking at me. I remember. I reply, every month. I transfer $2,000 to her account. Money she thinks goes to a landlord. In truth, I'm just moving funds between my accounts. I'm the landlord. Don't forget utilities, she adds. Your share's $400 this month. I nod. My share keeps rising, though I use little power or water. Clara thinks it's fair. After all, I'm in their house, using their resources. I return to my room, small but cozy. A bed, a desk, a chair by the window, a shelf of mystery novels I reread endlessly. An old radio I restored sits on the table. One of my few joys. I sit and gaze at the backyard. Spring in Boise is lovely. Magnolias bloom. Birds return. Margaret loved this season, Shalma. We'd sit on our old porch, sipping tea, watching nature. Sometimes I think she'd hate my lies. Henry Peterson, she'd say. You've turned into a cunning old fox. A car pulls up, snapping me from my thoughts. James's black SUV. My son steps out, followed by his wife, Sarah, and their teens, Ethan and Chloe. They rarely visit, though they're only 20 minutes away. James, 51, looks worn, balding, tense. His logistics company teeters on collapse. Yet he buys fancy cars and sends his kids to private schools. I head to the living room. Clara's already at the door, hugging her brother, her voice high with excitement. The teens mumble hellos, eyes on their phones. Sarah and Clara retreat to the kitchen, chatting about diets. James and I are alone. How's business? I ask, knowing the answer. Tough. He sighs. More competition. Clients want more for less. Dad, I was thinking, he says, voice low. Got any spare cash I need to upgrade my trucks, or I'll lose a big contract. There it is. Not 5 minutes in. James, I'm on a pension. Paying Clara rent and bills. I say, I know. He nods fast. But maybe you've got savings. Something for a rainy day. I'll pay it back with interest. I look at my son. 51? Still the boy who begged for a cooler bike? No, James, I don't have savings. I say. His face darkens. I see. The visit grows tense. James barely speaks to me. The kids ignore me completely. After lunch, they leave quickly, citing urgent business. Clara turns to me. What did you say to him? He looked upset. The truth, I reply. I don't have money to fund his business. She shakes her head. Must you be so harsh? He's your son, trying to keep his company afloat. And I'm trying to survive on my pension, I say, which I partly give to you. Clara's lips tighten. You live in my house, use my food, my electricity. It'd be odd if you didn't pay. Right. My house, I think. How easily she claims it. Of course, I say aloud. It's fair. That night, I sit in my room, Jazz playing softly so as not to bother Clara and Nathan. Through the wall, I hear them grumble about my stubbornness, my ingratitude, how I must have hidden savings. I stare at my reflection. An old man with a bitter smile. 22 years of secrets. A double life. Was it worth it? Would the truth have been better? Then I see Clara's calculating gaze, James's greedy calls, and I know I was right. The money wouldn't have changed them. It'd be gone in a blink. Lily comes home at 9, knocking softly. "Grandpa, you awake? Come in." "Sweetheart," I say. She slips in, tired but smiling. "How was your day?" she asks. "Sitting on my bed. Your uncle came by," I say. "Asked for truck money." Lily rolls her eyes. "Typical. He never just visits, does he? He's got his problems." I shrug. "That's no excuse to use you." She frowns. "Mom's the same. They think you owe them." Lily's insight amazes me. She sees what her parents, in their 40s and 50s, "Miss, your mom takes care of me," I say, though we both know it's half true. "She cares about your money." Lily says, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to badmouth her, but she could treat you better." I smile, taking her hand. "You're like your grandmother, always honest, even when it's hard." Lily smiles. "I wish I remembered her. I was 5 when she died. She'd be proud of you." I say, "You're the only one here not obsessed with money, maybe because I've never had much." She laughs. "It's hard to obsess over what you don't have." We talk about her studies, her cafe job, her latest book. She yawns, standing. Time for bed. Early start tomorrow. "Good night, Grandpa. Don't let them hurt you." After she leaves, I sit staring into the dark. I consider telling Lily the truth. She deserves to know she'll inherit a fortune from her poor grandpa, but that'd mean burdening her with my secret, keeping it from her parents. Unfair. Better to wait until she's out of college. On her own. For now. I play the poor old man, paying rent for my own house, enduring glares for using lights. It's a strange life, full of lies. But as long as I can sit here, listening to jazz, remembering Margaret, I can bear it. Sunday morning hits it with a headache. The neighbor's lawnmower roars at 8 sharp, like clockwork. I reach for my pills. A daily ritual now. Through the wall. Clara and Nathan mutter about bills, problems, always money. They earn enough. But Clara's fixated on saving. I dress and head to the kitchen. Their talk pauses as I enter. "Good morning," I say, reaching for the coffee maker. "Henry, we were just talking about you," Nathan says, businesslike. "Rent's due tomorrow." Right, I pour coffee, hiding my annoyance. "I didn't forget. I'll wire it today. Also," Nathan adds, "electricity rates climbed again. Your share's $450 this month. I nearly choke. $450. It was $400 last month. Inflation," Nathan says, like I'm a child. "Plus, you're home all day, lights on, TV running. I barely watch TV. I protest. And lights only when needed." The meter doesn't lie. Clara cuts in, eyes on her stack of bills. "If it's too much, we can get a separate meter for your room. I know arguing's useless. They'll always find ways to charge more." "Fine," I say. $450 it is." Clara nods, like she's won a deal. Nathan pats my shoulder, fake concern in his voice. "We're all tightening belts. Henry, times are tough." I nod, thinking of my $1 million+ account. Tough times. After breakfast, I step outside to stretch. It's warm. Neighbors tending lawns, washing cars, living normal lives. I wonder if their kids treat them like mine do. I stroll the sidewalk, sun warming my face. Our Boise neighborhood is tidy. Big houses, perfect lawns, middle-class folks pretending to be richer. My house stands out. 3 stories, wide porch, backyard facing a small lake. It's beautiful. Just lacks happiness. "Mr. Peterson?" "Morning." Calls Dwight Harper, our neighbor, a friendly insurance guy in his 50s. "Morning. Dwight." I say, "Nice day, huh? Sure is. he says, lowering his voice. Heard the news the Thompsons are selling their place. Asking nearly $1 million. Really, I say, feigning interest. Yeah, Dwight says, loving his gossip. Realtor says there's big interest. This area's hot. Prices are soaring. I nod, thinking of my house. If the Thompsons want $1 million for a smaller place, what's mine worth? I paid $700,000 22 years ago. Boise's market has exploded since. Ever thought of selling? Dwight asks. Big house for just 3. Must be hard to maintain. I smile. Not mine. Dwight. I rent a room from Clara. My standard lie. So familiar I half believe it. Oh, right, he says. Embarrassed. Forgot. Tell Clara if she ever wants to sell. My brother-in-law's a great realtor. High-end properties. I'll pass it on. I lie, saying goodbye. The idea of selling lodges in my mind. What if I did? What would Clara do if the owner put the house on the market? I chuckle, imagining her shock. But the thought turns serious. Why not live my life without her complaints? Without paying to exist in my own home, Margaret would call it petty revenge. Henry, she'd say. You're stooping to their level. But maybe she'd understand. Seeing how Clara treats me. I remember meeting Margaret in 1967 at a dance in a Boise community center. I was 19. She was 18. The prettiest girl there. Tall. Dark hair. A laugh that lit up the room. We married a year later. Bought a small house on the city's edge. I worked as an electrician. She taught school. We were happy. Despite modest means. Then came the kids. James, then Clara. Everything changed. They always wanted more expensive toys, fancy clothes. Margaret and I worked overtime to provide, but it was never enough. When Margaret got sick, they barely visited her. Too busy with their lives. I sigh. Back in the present. Sitting on a park bench by a pond, watching ducks. What would Margaret think of my lies? Tell the truth, Henry, she'd say. Stop hiding. But it's too late. Too many lies, too many years. If I confess now, they'll never forgive me. Not that I crave their forgiveness, but more family strife feels unbearable. At dinner, Clara's in a foul mood, slamming cabinet doors. What's wrong? I ask gently. The boiler's shot, she snaps. 3rd time this year, this house eats money. Maybe call a different repairman. I suggest. The last one seemed off. Clara glares. You're a boiler expert now, or got spare cash for a new guy. I stay quiet. Knowing any reply will spark a fight. Exactly. She says. You criticize, but who pays me and Nathan, as always? Do you know what it costs to run this place? Repairs, insurance, taxes? Yes, I think. I've paid for it 22 years. I nod instead. I get it. It's expensive. You don't get anything, she says. Arms crossed. You live here. Use everything. And all you do is pay your share. Even that's a hassle. I always pay on time. I say, anger rising. Yes, but it's not enough. She shouts. Prices are rising. Henry, we can't keep subsidizing you. Subsidizing? I snap. I pay $2,000 for a room, $450 for utilities. That's more than my pension. Where's the rest come from? Clara's voice rises. Not the sky. Nathan and I work our butts off for this house. I breathe deep, calming myself. This is going nowhere. I can up my share if needed, I say. Or find another place. Clara snorts. Where would you go? Who'd rent to a 78-year-old on a small pension? You know we didn't take you in for money. But because you're family, that doesn't mean you get a free ride. Taken in stings like a blade. Every time she says it, I feel like a stray dog pitied. At that moment, Nathan enters, fresh from a run, sensing the tension and, What's up? He asks. Boiler's broken, Clara says, and Henry thinks we should splurge on fancy repairmen. I didn't say that. I counter. Just a suggestion, doesn't matter. Nathan cuts in. This house is getting pricier. And your contribution's static. Unfair. I just offered to pay more. I say, cornered. By how much? Nathan asks. All business. Another $600 monthly would cover rising costs. I swallow hard. $600 impossible on my pension, though my secret account could handle it. I need to think, I say. Think fast, Nathan snaps. Bills don't wait. He leaves. Clara looks at me. A mix of disappointment, annoyance, maybe pity. We won't kick you out, she says softer. But pay your share. This is adult life. Henry, nothing's free. Adult life? I'm 78, worked decades, buried my wife, raised 2 kids, and she lectures me on adult life. I know, I say, swallowing anger. I'll consider it. The next day, walking, I spot a realtor at the Thompsons' house, setting a for sale sign. Without thinking, I approach. Selling the Thompsons' place, I ask. Raymond Carter, Boise Premier Realty, he says, handing me a card. Interested in buying? No. Just curious, I say, pointing to my house. I live nearby. Raymond whistles. That's a fine property. One of the best here. If you ever sell, call me. You'd get a great price now. Really, I say, faking surprise. How much hard to say without a look? He says. But given the size, location, market, maybe 900,000. $1 million if it's in good shape. I whistle, acting shocked. Good time to sell best in years. Raymond says, high demand, low supply. Houses here sell in days, often above asking. Not mine, I say quickly. I rent from my daughter, the owner. I see. He nods. If she ever wants to sell, I'll give a free appraisal. I pocket his card, thanking him. All day, I think of our talk. 900,000, maybe $1 million. Far more than the 700,000 I paid. Enough to live comfortably. No more justifying every dime to Clara and Nathan. That night, I stare at Raymond's card, then save his number. Just in case. I tell myself. A choice. Days pass quietly. Clara's busy. Nathan's on a work trip. Lily's at college or the cafe. I savored the solitude, jazz, books, tinkering with my radio. But Thursday night, Clara storms in, tossing her bag on the table. Did you send the rent? She asks. No, hello. Monday, I say, eyes on my paper. And the extra, she says, arms crossed. The 600 we discussed? I look up. I thought it over. I can't afford it. My pension's not stretchy. Her face reddens. So we cover your costs. That's unfair. Henry, I'm paying fair for a room. I say, blood pressure climbing. 2,000's above market. It's not just the room, she yells. Kitchen, living room, yard, electricity, water, gas. I pay utilities, I interrupt, and the costs keep rising, though I use nothing. You use more than you think, she snaps. And property taxes, insurance someone's got to pay. I breathe deep. I know it's costly, but I can't pay more. Maybe talk to James. James. She laughs bitterly. He's got real expenses, kids. Business, mortgage. I have expenses, I say quietly. Meds, doctors, mostly covered by insurance. Don't play poor, Clara cuts in. You worked forever, lived cheap. Where's your savings? I stay silent. Should I confess my millions or keep lying? I spent most on your mom's treatment. I say a half-truth. The rest went to life. It's expensive. Clara, especially old and sick. I don't believe you, she says flatly. You're hiding something, but it's not my problem anymore. She steps closer. Pay the extra 600, or find somewhere else. I'm done subsidizing you. I stare at my daughter. Once a little girl I read stories to, now a stranger, cold and calculating. You're evicting me, I ask quietly. I'm setting fair terms, she says. It's business. Henry, nothing personal, my own daughter says. Kicking out her father, I get it. I say, standing, give me a week. There's nothing to decide, she snaps. Pay or leave. Her words cut deep. I walk to my room, pull out Raymond's card, and stare. Then I dial. Mr. Carter, Henry Peterson. We spoke at the Thompsons. I want to discuss selling my house. The next morning, I pack, not much clothes, books, my radio, Margaret's photos, papers. My life fits 2 suitcases and a box. Sad for 78 years. Clara's at work. Lily enters, sees the bags, and freezes. Grandpa, what's happening? Her voice trembles. I'm moving out. Honey, I say calmly. Your mom gave me an ultimatum. Pay more or leave. I can't pay, so I'm going. This isn't right, she says. She can't do this. You're her father. I take her hand. In some families, money trumps blood. Where will you go? She asks. Tears in her eyes. I found a small apartment downtown. I say, modest, but enough. Don't worry, I won't be homeless. I'd already arranged the place. A small unit in an old Boise building. Clean, furnished. $1,200 a month less than I paid Clara for my own house. I'll visit, Lily promises, hugging me tight. I'll be waiting. I smile. Don't tell your mom the address. Let her think I vanished, like she wanted. Lily nods, torn between us. Too young for this. The cab comes at noon. I glance at the room I lived in for 5 years. Playing the poor old man. The irony stings. I'm leaving my own house, evicted by a daughter who doesn't know she's a tenant. Lily helps with my bags, hugs me tight. I'll call tomorrow, she says. I'll be waiting, I reply, climbing into the cab. As we drive, I look back at the house, bought with lottery money 22 years ago. Soon, it won't be mine. The apartment's as expected, small, a bedroom, a tiny living kitchen combo, a cramped bathroom, old but clean. I unpack, set Margaret's photo by the bed, and sit in a worn armchair by the window. Sadness, relief, determination mix inside me. Sad for how things turned out. Relieved to escape the lies. Determined to see my plan through. Next day, I meet Raymond Carter at a cafe near my apartment. He's surprised I called. More so when I admit I own the house. Not Clara. Mr. Peterson. He shakes my hand. Your house is a gem in Boise's market. I nod. I want to sell fast and quiet. My daughter doesn't know I own it. Raymond raises an eyebrow, but stays professional. Family matters can be tricky, he says. We can keep it confidential. Buyers will need to see it. Though, I know, I say, tell Clara the owner's selling, and she'll have 30 days to move after the sale. She doesn't need to know it's me. Possible, Raymond says. We can use a trust to hide your name. But are you sure secrets come out at bad times? I chuckle. This one's held 22 years. A few more months won't hurt. We set a price $950,000, minimum $890,000. I'll take that or higher, I say. Raymond smiles. You know real estate. Mr. Peterson. We plan showings when Clara's at work. I hand over a key. By week's end, papers are ready. That evening, Clara calls. I stare at the screen, tempted to ignore her, but curiosity wins. Hello, I say. Henry, where are you? She snaps, annoyed but worried. Somewhere safe, I say vaguely. You left without goodbye, she says. Your stuff's gone. Lily said you took a cab. What'd you expect? Clara, you kicked me out. I didn't, she protests. I said pay your share. Which I couldn't. I say, that's eviction. She sighs. Maybe I was harsh. Let's talk. You shouldn't live alone at your age. It's dangerous. I see through her. Without my rent, her budget's tight. I'm fine. I say, got an affordable apartment. Quiet. No one nags about lights or heat. Be reasonable, she says. Irritation creeping in. You can't live alone. What if you fall? I've got a phone. I say. I'm not as frail as you think. You're stubborn, she says. Mom said you were impossible. Margaret knew when to push and when to let go. I say, but shame you didn't learn that. The call ends fast. Clara mumbles about calling later and hangs. Raymond calls daily with updates. Interest is huge. 12 families view the house in 3 days. 6 serious. On day 7, he's thrilled. We've got an offer. $910,000. Cash. Quick close. Buyers are retirees from Seattle. Love the lake view. My heart races. $910,000 after fees. Leaves about $800,000. With my savings, Plenty for my years. I accept. I say, great. Raymond says, we'll close in 2 weeks. Clara gets 30 days to move post-sale. Notify her soon. I say, well, the sooner she knows, the better. I sit by the window, weighing my choice. Part of me feels bitter. I wanted a loving family, grandkids visiting, a daughter who cared. Instead, I'm selling to spite a woman who saw me as a cash machine. But another part feels satisfied. Clara will learn she lived in my house, not hers. I wasn't helpless. I could have pulled the rug any time. And I did. Margaret wouldn't approve. Anger destroys the one who feels it. She'd say. But she didn't see Clara's cold words, her scorn, the daily humiliations. I look at her photo. Sorry, darling, I whisper. Sometimes even patient men break. Days pass in paperwork, lawyer questions, bank statements. Raymond handles it well. Clara calls, trying to coax me back. I stay vague, hiding my plans. Let her learn from the realtor, like any tenant. On day 10, Raymond calls. Contract signed. Buyers paid a $90,000 deposit. We can notify Clara. A registered letter will tell her to vacate in 30 days, he says. But a personal visit might work better. I'll go tomorrow. She'll be mad. I warn, I've seen worse, Raymond says. I ask him to keep my name out until the end. He agrees, but warns my name will show in final documents. That's fine, I say. It won't matter then. That night, I can't sleep. Picturing Raymond telling Clara, her shock, her panic calling Nathan, part of me relishes it. Part feels empty. Is this what I wanted revenge on my daughter? Even if deserved, I stare out at Boise's twinkling lights. You're doing right, I tell myself. She chose money over family. But Margaret's voice whispers. Are there winners in family wars? Henry, only losers. I don't know. Morning comes at 11:30. Clara calls. Furious. What the hell's happening? She yells. A realtor says the house is sold. We've got 30 days to move. Some mistake. Right, you messed up the rent. No mistake, I say calmly. The house is sold. How, she demands. You paid rent. I checked the bills. The landlord can sell whenever. I say, then we contact him. She insists. Explain, offer to buy. We've got good credit. Clara, I interrupt. The landlord decided, sold for $890,000. Documents signed. But we've lived here 5 years. She says, desperate. We have rights. Help us. Henry, you had his contact. This is it. No landlord. I say, I paid you. What? She stammers. You paid me. I paid the landlord. No, I say slowly. No landlord. I own the house. Silence. What? She whispers. I own it. I repeat. Bought it 22 years ago with lottery money. I was never a tenant. That was a lie. Impossible. She says. You said you were barely scraping by. I lied. I say, if you and James knew, you'd have taken every cent. You always did college, cars, weddings, never grateful, always more. You're saying you lied for 22 years? She gasps. Let us think we helped you. You lived in my house, charging me rent, I say. And now you sold it. She snaps. Throwing your daughter out. I sold my property. I correct. The one you charged me for. The one you threatened to evict me from. You're a monster, she says. How could you? Avery will despise you. I'm not throwing anyone out, I say, but you've got 30 days. With your income, you'll manage. Leave Lily out, and she's the only one who respects me. You'll be alone, she hisses. We'll all hate you. I'm already alone. I say, since Margaret died, you and James only cared about my money. Your threats are 22 years late. She sobs. Real emotion for once. It's not fair, she says. We cared for you. You took care of my money. I say, you don't know my meds, my books, my music. You didn't care about me. Just my wallet. That's not true, she protests. I cooked, cleaned, drove you, and made me feel like a burden. I say, counting my electricity, my water. That's not care. It's business. I can't believe you think that, she says. I can't believe you don't see the truth. I reply, the house is sold. Find a new place. Start now, you'll regret this. She threatens, I'll tell everyone what you did. Tell them, I say, I'm done hiding. I hang up. Hands shaken. Relief, sadness, emptiness mix. The truth's out. But my daughter's gone. 15 minutes later, James calls, furious. What are you doing? He yells. Gina's hysterical. You sold the house. Throwing us out, I sold my property. I say, my right. Why now? He demands. Why hide you owned it because you demand your cut? I say, like always. Every loan, every call, always money. That's unfair. He says, I asked for help because you're my dad. I helped. I say, never enough. No gratitude, no respect. You skipped my last birthday for a meeting. There's always something more important. I say, you only call for cash. I can't believe you think that. He says, you took care of my money, not me, I say, and now you're punishing Clara. He accuses, I'm not. I say, 30 days to find a place. With their income, and it's fine, 30 days is nothing. He shouts, Boise's market is crazy, I know. I say, that's why I sold, $890,000 was good. What'll you do with it? He asks, tone shifting to interest. Typical. None of your business, I say. It's the family home, he argues. Mom wouldn't approve. Don't use Margaret, I snap. She'd hate how greedy you've become. That's low, he says. No lower than using her to manipulate me, I retort. He accuses. I stand firm. He gives up. Do what you want, he says. Don't come to us when you're alone. You ditched me long ago, I say, hanging up. Lily calls next. Worried, Grandpa. What's happening? She asks. Mom says you sold the house, kicked them out. Is it true, partly? I say, I sold it, but they've got 30 days. Not out on the street. How could you sell it? She asks. It was Mom and Dad's. Right now. Honey, I say, always mine? Bought it 22 years ago and never told anyone. Why? She asks. I won the lottery, I explain, a big one. Bought the house, saved the rest. If your parents knew, they'd have taken it all. You didn't trust them. She says, I knew them too well. I correct. Your mom kicked me out when I couldn't pay more. Mom says it's revenge. She says, partly. I admit, I was tired of lying. Justifying every cent. I wanted freedom, I understand. She says, but it's harsh. They're homeless now. They've got money, I say. 30 days is enough. You don't have to pick sides. Sweetheart, I'll always love you. I know, she says. Voice shaky. Mom's furious. She may not let me see you. My door's open, I say. After, I feel drained. No triumph, just fatigue. Freedom from lies. But at what cost I turn off my phone. Enough for today. I walk that evening. Boise's blooming trees in the air. I think of Clara's shock. James's anger. Lily's confusion. One choice 22 years ago led here. Was I right? Maybe honesty early on would have changed things, or they'd have burned my money faster. Margaret said secrets rot families like termites. Was she right? Did I destroy us? Or was it their greed? I don't know. But I'm done lying. Back home. 10 missed calls from Clara, 5 from James, 2 from Lily. I mute the phone. Tomorrow. Tonight. I want peace. I sit by the window, watching the sunset. Freedom washes over me. No more lies. No more victim. Just Henry Peterson. 78. A widower living his way. Not a triumph, a release. 3 weeks later, life's transformed. The sale closed, netting $760,000 after fees. Added to my savings? It's enough for my days. I buy a cozy one-story house in South Boise for $550,000. 3 bedrooms, big living room, a porch with a garden view. No stairs. Perfect for me. The realtor, Helen Morris, is shocked I paid cash. Rare these days. Mr. Peterson, she says, too old for loans. I smile. I own it outright. I furnish it my way, comfy armchair, big TV for old movies, new clothes, no more worn shirts. I see a top gerontologist, Dr. Phillips, who checks me thoroughly, updates my arthritis meds, and sets up physical therapy. You're in great shape for your age, he says. With care, you've got years of active life. Clara always said I was fading. Nice to know I'm not. Clara and Nathan scramble for a new place. Lily tells me they're looking at apartments. Unhappy. Mom says nothing matches the old house. Lily says Dad's mad about rent costs. They fight constantly. I'm sorry you see this. I say, not your fault. She says, well, technically it is, but I get why. I'd tire of their demands too. How's James? I ask. Furious, she says. Calls you selfish. But when Mom told him about your money, he asked for a loan mid-scandal. Typical. Clara's still mad. Lily says she'll never forgive you. Nathan's upset about new costs. They found a decent apartment near downtown, but Clara calls it a step back. I stay quiet. Clara's status obsessed. A smaller place bruises her ego. I moved in yesterday. I tell Lily, come see it. You'll like it. I will, she promises. Don't tell Mom. Our secret, I say. Lily visits days later, eyes wide at my house. Wow, Grandpa, she says. This is amazing. Better than I thought. What'd you expect? I tease. A shack? No, she laughs. Mom said you got some cheap place. She doesn't know about this. Let her think what she wants. I say, and we spend the day together. Cooking real food. Not Clara's cheap pasta. You look happy, Lily says on the porch. Relaxed, I am, I admit. Free. No proving, no excuses. I'm happy for you, she says. You deserve it. So do you, I say, taking her hand. I set up a trust for your education, your future. Her eyes widen. Grandpa, you don't have to. I want to, I say. You cared about me, not my money. You deserve a chance. Her eyes tear up. Thank you, she whispers. What'll Mom say she won't know? I wink. It's ours. You'll manage it after college. She hugs me tight. You're the best, Grandpa, she says. Despite your secrets. I laugh, warmth filling me. One bond unbroken. A month later, James calls, voice soft. Dad, how are you? He asks. Fine, I say warily. Good, he says. I was harsh last time. Hot-headed. I'd like to visit. Help out. I hear his gears turning. He knows about my house, my money. Wants a peace, not reconciliation. Nice of you. I say, but I'm settled. Everything's done. His voice dips. Maybe I'll just stop by. Another time? I say, I'm busy. He gives up, promising to call. I know he will, especially if he hears about Lily's trust, which I hope she keeps quiet. Clara holds out longer. 2 months without contact. Then her car pulls up as I garden. Nice place. Earl, she says, eyeing my house. Thanks. I say, why the visit? You look good, she says. Surprised. Healthier. Good food, good doctor, no stress. I say. She nods, scanning the garden. New furniture, must have cost a lot. I can afford it. I say. She sighs. I was shocked, angry about your lies. But maybe we can fix things. We're family. Family, I say. Funny you mention it now. Not when you evicted me or charged me rent. I didn't know it was your house, she says. Would it have changed anything? I ask. More respect. Or just more demands. She's silent, telling me everything. You're here for my money, I say. You missed your chance. It's not fair, she says. I gave you chances, I say, every day for 5 years. You didn't take them. We stand in silence, a chasm between us. Finally, she turns to her car. I thought you'd be lonely, miserable, she says. But you're fine. Yes, I say, I'm fine. She drives off without goodbye. Likely our last meeting. Months pass in peace. I garden, join a book and chess club for seniors. Lily visits, talks of journalism, travel. James calls, fishing for money. I decline. Clara never contacts. Lily says they bought a smaller house. Decent, but tense. Noah blames Clara for missing my wealth. Was I right to reveal my secret this way? Maybe gradual honesty would have helped. But their greed wouldn't change. On a spring morning, I sit on my porch, sipping real coffee, reading the paper. My garden blooms tulips. Roses. My phone rings. Clara. Odd after months. I stare, wondering. Another accusation, manipulation, or something with Lily. If it's serious, I'd hear from others. Likely another grab at my money. I mute the phone, sip my coffee, turn the page. The sun rises, birds sing, the world moves on. I'm part of it. Not a poor old man, not a stingy father, just Henry Peterson. 78. Free to live my way. Priceless. And so, my journey unfolded. A tale woven with secrets and hard truths. Henry Peterson, hid $2 million in lottery winnings for 22 years, living as a tenant in my own Boise home, paying rent to my daughter Clara, who never suspected I was the owner. Her cold demands, her husband Nathan's indifference, and my son James's endless pleas for money wore me down. Selling the house was my escape. A way to end the lies. To break free from manipulation. Clara and James were stunned, their anger cutting deep, severing our ties. Yet, my granddaughter Lily remained a light, her care genuine, untouched by greed. The house sold for $910,000, granting me freedom, a new home, and peace at 78. But freedom came at a cost, a family fractured, perhaps forever. Reflecting on Clara, I see a daughter hardened by life, her warmth buried under obsession with money. She cared for me, yes, but through a lens of duty, not love. Her kindness measured in dollars. Nathan, ever the analyst, saw me as a line item, a burden to balance. James, my son, chased success but fell into greed. His calls always laced with expectation. Lily, though, shines apart, her heart open, her wisdom beyond her 19 years. She reminds me of Margaret, my late wife, whose honesty I betrayed with my silence. The story, their story, mine, is one of choices. Secrets kept too long, and the heavy price of truth. What lesson does this leave us? Honesty, though painful, builds stronger bonds than secrets ever can. Greed blinds us to what matters. Family, love, respect. I hid my wealth to protect it, but lost my children's trust. The human message is clear. Cherish those who see you. Not your wallet. Live truthfully, then, even when it hurts, for lies erode the soul. To you, listening, what do you think? Have secrets shaped your life? Share your thoughts. Like this story. Leave a comment. Subscribe to hear more tales of truth and redemption. Let's keep this conversation alive.